everyone, and welcome back to the Climate Solutions Podcast, where we bring you the latest insights, hidden stories, and real solutions about the climate crisis. I'm Brain, and with me, as always, is Amma.
Hey, Brain. I'm so excited to dive into today's episode because we're talking about something that doesn't often make the headlines, the climate crisis that's quietly unfolding behind the scenes. We'll explore some of the lesser-known, yet incredibly urgent, climate events that are happening right now.
That's right, Amma. These are things that might not be on the front page of the news, but they have huge, real-time consequences. For example, did you know that large swathes of permafrost in the Arctic are melting at rates much faster than we ever expected?
Yes, this is a huge issue, Brain. Permafrost is essentially frozen soil, and it's been stable for thousands of years, holding massive amounts of carbon that, if released into the atmosphere, would dramatically accelerate global warming. According to a recent report by the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, the melting of permafrost could release tons of carbon.
And that's just the beginning. When permafrost thaws, it also releases methane, a much more potent greenhouse gas than CO2. So, even though we may not be seeing these changes in our daily lives, they are playing a major role in the accelerating climate crisis.
Absolutely. And speaking of things we don't see but are incredibly important, how about the disappearance of the ocean's phytoplankton? Phytoplankton are tiny organisms that live in the ocean, and they play a massive role in our climate system by absorbing carbon dioxide and producing oxygen. But rising ocean temperatures and acidification are threatening their survival. In fact, a report from the World Wildlife Fund, WWF, found that phytoplankton populations have dropped tremendously in some areas.
That's a staggering loss, Amma. Phytoplankton are the foundation of the entire marine food web, and if they continue to die off at this rate, it could collapse marine ecosystems and disrupt food supplies for millions of people who depend on fish. It's just another example of how interconnected everything is.
Exactly. And what's even scarier is that these environmental shifts are also having direct impacts on human health. We're not just talking about rising temperatures here, but more unpredictable extreme weather events, things like heat waves, floods, and wildfires, which are affecting communities across the globe. The World Health Organization, WHO, has highlighted that climate change is already responsible for thousands of deaths annually due to heat stress, malnutrition, and diseases. And this number is only going to rise if we don't take action soon.
Exactly. And what's even scarier is that these environmental shifts are also I think it's important to stress that the impacts on human health aren't just physical. Mental health is also being heavily affected. Studies show that people living in areas hit hardest by natural disasters, like wildfires or flooding, are seeing increased rates of anxiety, depression, and trauma. Direct impacts on human health. We're not just talking about rising temperatures here, but more unpredictable extreme weather events, things like heat waves, floods, and wildfires, which are affecting communities across the globe. The World Health Organization, WHO, has highlighted that climate change is already responsible for thousands of deaths annually due to heat stress, malnutrition, and diseases. And this number is only going to rise if we don't take action soon.
Yes, Brain, and that's why it's so crucial to raise awareness about these hidden aspects of the crisis. It's not just the obvious melting ice caps and rising sea levels, it's the more subtle, insidious changes that are happening all around us.
It can feel overwhelming, Amma, but here's the good news. Communities around the world are already stepping up with innovative solutions. From local initiatives to international collaborations, we're seeing real change. For instance, in some regions of Alaska, indigenous communities are working with scientists to monitor permafrost and develop strategies to mitigate its thawing. Meanwhile, countries like the Maldives are planting mangrove forests to protect coastal areas from storm surges, which are getting stronger as the oceans warm.
I love that. It's always inspiring to see how communities are coming together. And it proves that there's hope. Small, positive actions can add up, and we all have a role to play. Whether it's reducing our carbon footprint, supporting climate-friendly policies, or simply spreading awareness, every effort counts.
Exactly, Amma. And we want our listeners to feel empowered and motivated. There are solutions out there. The science is clear, and so are the solutions. Now, it's up to us to implement them on a larger scale.
Absolutely, Brain. And that's why we're here, to keep these important conversations going, spread the word, and bring you the solutions you can take part in. So, before we wrap up, we'd like to leave you with this message. The climate crisis is happening now, and while some of it might be underreported, the actions we take today can make all the difference for tomorrow.
That's right. It's time to wake up to the less visible parts of the climate crisis, acknowledge their urgency, and start working together to change the trajectory.
Thank you all for listening. Make sure to subscribe to CCN News for more of these important discussions. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop with what's happening in the world of climate change.
And remember, we can all make an impact, big or small. Stay informed, stay active, and stay hopeful.
See you next time, everyone.
Take care, and let's make a difference together.
Thank you.